Salutations and greetings, my friends. This is Dukungozi, and welcome back to my gardening channel. And today we have a new video for you. In this video, guys, I will be showing you how I make my garden plots. So over here, I'm actually putting down a new garden plot. So I'll be taking you through the process of how I make my garden plots, how deep I dig, and how I prepare the soil for planting. So as you can see for now, I am just digging it out to a depth of around maybe 10 to 12 centimeters. So I just dig until I hit the hard layer of the earth basically. But it's like the layer where the ground is super compact and it is actually hard for the shovel to get through. I dig until I hit that layer. It looks more like compact clay than anything else at that layer. And so now, starting from this point, I've started to speed up the video because it is quite long videos that I've compiled into this one. My phone was turning off a lot of the time because of overheating issues, not because it didn't have space or anything like that. And yeah, as you can see, Penny over there, my dog, Pennzoil. So yeah, she's always around when I am working on my garden. Probably staking out or trying to make sure that I don't dig up her bones. But even if I do dig up her bones, I need that space. So it can be bone treasure chests all over the place. So yeah, as you can see over here, after I dig out some of the soil, I put it in a bag, crush it down, and then sieve it through the sieve over here, where I collect the soil without the rocks, and then I toss the rocks and the stones on the side over there. So I was getting tired of doing like one scoops, so yeah, I did a whole scoop in the bag, stepped on it to loosen up the clumps of sand and soil, and then yeah, tip it into the sieve it out, toss out the stones, and then repeat the process a couple of times until I have a bucket full of sand or soil. Now that is what I do on a usual case basis. That is what I did to make the plot that is already fenced around, or not fenced, netted around. I don't know what the word is, but yeah, the plot that is cordoned off. Yeah, I use basically the same process here. However, there are parts of it where I did not remove the rocks, and that's where the spring onion was growing. I say was now because I've been having a whole lot of issues with KineMaster. The videos I've taken, I would edit them, and then when it's time to do voiceovers, like I would edit them, compile them together, cut out some parts that I don't want, remove some sounds that I don't want, or sounds that will get me copyrighted, like music playing in the background, not my music, but like music from the neighbors and such playing in the background. Yeah, yeah, so because I didn't remove the rocks where the spring onion was growing, it became spring onion because I actually sowed for, well, Texas grano onion seeds. So because it was so rocky under the spring onions, it didn't even give them enough room for them to grow bulbs. So it focused all its energy on its leaves. And so yeah, that is basically spring onion. So over here, however, I wanted difference because I did notice that problem. So I wanted difference, so I dug as deep as I could, which is until the solid rock layer. Well, I believe it's a rock layer. I don't know what that layer is, bedrock, whatever. Up until that layer, and then I would sieve out all the stones and all the rocks. So the bag didn't work much. As you can see, I put down a plastic over there where I chuck the sand on top of, the soil on top of, and then I'll go to sieve it. So I found it better that way because the bag was taking too long, and I didn't feel like sieving into a bag the entire day. And so I'm just gonna gloss over how deep it is, the tools I'm using, and then the stones where I'm gathering them. That's the sand pile, the soil pile. So basically what I'm doing is moving it from there, sieving it directly into the hole, which is a bit more energy efficient, I guess. So here we've cut over to when I've partially started filling it. You know, I remove the sand, the stones, and then I sieve it into the hole directly. So it's a lot of soil without any type of rocks in there, without um, dead roots or stems or any other vegetation. That's how soft it is. Like I can rub my feet around in there, ground myself a bit, Cause yeah, my feet were getting hot, and this was better anyway because it gives you a bit of a connection, to what you're doing. I don't know. That's just me. That's just me. So yeah, I go through the entire pile, sieving out the rocks and the stones, and then checking them in front of me there across the plot there. And so yeah, this process I did all the way until I filled that hole with its soil back up again. So yeah, as much as you don't want to consume a lot of time on doing one thing, this is also quite therapeutic as well. Maybe not therapeutic is the right word. It's also calming, you know. Doing the work in the garden for me is calming. It allows me to get my thoughts in a row. It allows me to think more on what I want to do from my garden, what I want to see from my garden, and what I would like to plant in future. So I just stuck my finger in there so that that depth was like a finger's length, index finger's length. So that's how much soil there is in there currently. And so it was about maybe the depth of my hand and a half. So the depth of my hand and a half is how I would describe the depth of my plot over here. So yeah, just take your time when doing your garden. You don't have to be in a rush, because I also, whenever I start with a garden plot or when I'm harvesting, I will always start out early in the morning, like at around 8 a.m. And so starting from then, you do have a lot of time to get through what you're doing, especially if you know generally how long it would take. So over here, I'm showing you the depth of the plot. So it's actually half a hand. So half a hand actually is how deep my plot is. I had said my hand and half a hand, but yeah, half a hand deep is how deep it is. Yeah, and so I am still sieving out all the soil and all the rocks. Well, sieving out all the rocks from the soil, and then checking them over there. Yeah, the bending over was kind of bit painful on my back, so I did get a bucket to sit on, the same bucket that I was tipping it in. So yeah, this process goes on for like a bit, guys. But yeah, something for you to watch at least, if you are planning on, adding a little garden in your yard and it seems like a daunting task, all you have to do is just give yourself a day. Just give yourself a day and then start in the morning and then work on it. And I don't have a lot of tools, so well, I don't have a lot of tools here. However, where the bunnies are, where I keep the bunnies, I do have a lot of gardening tools there because I do have a larger garden there to work with. And I will show it, but for now, it's actually under renovation, if I can put it like that, because I'm changing it up. There's something I'm building there. So for the time being, I won't be showing that property. And I won't be showing much of the animals much because yeah, there's a lot going on. And I would like to show it after I'm done. So that it is, something worth you guys watching. But yeah, at that property I do have enough tools for gardening and such. Over here I just have basic tools, which is like a rake and a shovel. And that's about it. In my other property I have hose, I have garden shovels and all that, but I didn't really need them because I'm just making a plot over here. It's not like I'm doing a large undertaking. All right, so after I've sieved off all the soil that I had dug up, I reintroduce now the rocks. So over here, I'm just gonna sieve out a bit more soil and then manually with my hands remove stems, sticks, and anything that I don't want a lot of underground. But I do want some roots, some vegetation and such underground, because as it rots, it reintroduces nutrients into that plot. So I do filter it out, but not all of it, just enough to not overwhelm or enough to not regrow, if you get what I mean. Like if you're gonna put a root or a stem underground, even if it looks dead, there's a chance that it will come back alive once it is within the nutrients and it gets enough water, which is basically what happens in a plot. You do feed nutrients in the soil and you do give it water. So I do not want those roots and those stems to come back to life again, because what I've noticed with plants a lot, plants enter dormant states when their conditions aren't met. They don't perish or outright unalive themselves when their conditions are not met. So they can stay in these dormant states so long as, I believe, internally they have enough to sustain themselves. Internally they have enough energy to sustain themselves before they reach the point of where they perish. So yeah, I did not return all the stones and all the rocks. I returned maybe a third of the entire pile is what I returned back in. Because the thing is, I don't want the soil to be too compact. Being just soil, I don't want it to compact itself as flour or or icing snow does when it's just it and you give it moisture. When you give flour moisture, when you give icing snow moisture, what usually happens is that it becomes compact and becomes rock-like. So you don't want your soil to do that, because then it will cut off the nutrients flowing to the roots, and it will also make it hard for the roots to spread, because it'll be as if they have to get through concrete in order to spread their roots. So the reason why I introduced the sand, the rocks and the stones back in, albeit a third of them, is to allow the is to allow for pockets of air and to allow for space in the soil for the roots to move and for gaseous exchange to happen. So yeah, guys, I would like for you guys to forgive me because I don't have a script. I don't have a script. I did write a script, but the problem is I tried to match my script with the time of the videos, and so that didn't work out as well. And then Kind Cinema, Kind mastered this thing. There's this app that I'm using for my editing. Yeah, what it did is that it cut out a whole lot of my videos and I had to redo them. So redoing a script as well was a no, because if I do happen to change my thoughts along while I watch the video and edit it later, if I do happen to change my thoughts, I have to change the script as well. So I'd rather freestyle than have to change a script constantly. I don't know about you, but I think that makes sense. And the reason why I do voiceovers after I've taken the videos and after I've compiled the videos into one long video is because my microphone on my phone isn't that good. It sounds grainy at best and it sounds choppy at worst. So I use my microphone to do voiceovers after the fact. Alright, now that we're done introducing the rocks, sorry. Here I am removing the mango or aloe plant because I'm still not sure what it is. And right now it's even worse because like since I moved it, it's kind of struggling. Um, the nutrients over here, because you can see there's two there's two sunflowers to its right, there's two sunflowers, or to its left. If it's looking at the camera, it's to its left, two sunflowers, and then the viney-ish tree to the right. I don't know what that one is either, because as I said, guys, I just throw seeds here and then I let it happen. So this is my compost corner, and in this compost corner, guys, like there's everything here. I believe there's everything that plants need to grow. Nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus, all of that is here. And that is why everything in this plot over here, this garden, this compost section, everything here grows extremely well, extremely well. I will show you what the sunflowers look like now, because yes, they have grown. And so here is the tree, the mango tree or the avocado tree. And yeah, it's the first one to be going in. I also have some succulents and some rose stems that I'm gonna put in here as well. But for now, yeah, let's dig in and replant in our mango forward slash avocado tree. I'm just gonna call it a tree for now because I do not know who this sir is. I don't remember what it was when it was thrown here. But there is apricot seeds over there. There is mango seeds over there. There is avocado seeds over there. So over here, what you're seeing me do is that I'm actually getting the direction of the leaves, how the leaves are branching out, and then I'm planting it in a way that the leaves will branch out without obstructing the washing line, the wall, or the garden plot that's already down. So I was just ensuring that as it grows older, as time grows, it doesn't affect anything else. So here I have the succulents, and yeah, just plant them basically as well into the ground like that. I just cut off a bit of their tips so that they are freshly exposed and hopefully draw up water faster and grow roots faster. Same thing for the roses over there. I basically did the same thing. And so I was scattering around some stones around them so that when I pour water on them, the water hits the stones first. Hits the stones first and doesn't actually dig a hole. But that did happen a couple of times, but I did repatch them up in future. So yeah, basically over here I was trying to make my plot aesthetically pleasing. I was trying to make my plants aesthetically pleasing, and the sand or the soil around them aesthetically pleasing. And so yeah, when it's dry, as you can see, it's quite easy to dig into when it's dry. However, the moment you pour water here, the moment the soil over here gets more like a lot of water, it becomes hard and compact. And that is why I have the stones reintroduced into the soil, because it is going to be a major problem for roots to grow and throw and spread if the soil is basically concrete. So yeah, two rose stems went in, the two succulents went in. It was one succulent, and then I cut it into two, and then the avocado forward slash mango is in. So yeah, basically here I am again trying to make it aesthetically pleasing, and after that it will be followed by some water. Now guys, I do want to mention that this whole process took about 2.5 hours from digging the plot to now replanting or transplanting these new plants over here. And the rose, I don't have rose, so I actually got those rose stems from a friend. And even now, they're wilted, the leaves are dead. But as I said, remember what I said, it itself is not unalived. It in itself is not unalived. It will come back to life. I just have to give it time and patience, which is really what this garden project is about. Me teaching myself patience, and to have patience not only for my garden but in life in general. And that is what I also want to impart to you guys. Just because something doesn't look how you expect it to look, it doesn't go how you expect it to go, doesn't mean it won't get there eventually. So I'm going back to my compost corner over here, and then I'm collecting the soil from the compost corner because it has everything. It has the nutrients, it has the bacteria, the microbes, all of that that the ever tree, the ever plant had and thrived with. So it had all of that. So I just took it out. I took a a small amount of that soil over there, sieved it out again, to remove the vegetation, to remove the rocks, the plastic that's there. There's a couple of things over there. Oh, there's quite a couple of things because waste gets tossed there. Any organic waste gets tossed there, and then plastics and stuff get in there because they get blown in by the wind and stuff like that. Also, I don't know if you guys can. Well, you should be able to pick up the sound of the ice cream truck in the background. I don't know about you guys, but it's been well over a decade since I heard an ice cream truck pass by, but I left it. Yeah, I left it because I'm not a big fan of those popsicle ice creams anymore. Now I just like me some soft serve. So over here, I'm just pouring water into the soil that I got from the compost corner. This is just to make sure that the nutrients and the microbes that were in that small little shovel's worth of soil that I got can be spread more evenly or more equally across the plot with the water that I'll be pouring in. And so yeah, guys. So basically, you're just gonna see me mix it up and pour it in, basically. Mix up the water so that the soil itself gets also mixed and poured over onto the new plot. And yeah, with that, guys, we are coming to the end of the video. I would like to thank you for joining me. I would like to thank you for watching. And I would like to thank you for your patience with my voiceovers. Because, yeah, I'm not really good with scripts, guys. I'm good with just free speeching. I don't know if that's a word, but it works for me to just talk from what I remember I was doing and to tell you basically what it is I'm doing as we are both looking at it. Unless there's more than two of you watching, that we are all looking at it. But, yeah, guys, that is basically how I make my new plots. Thank you for joining me, guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.